A mess, a mess, a mess. A hot, hot mess. A mess express. Let's just jump into it. Hi, I'm Taneza. Subscribe below if you haven't. Binge watch all my reviews. This is a review of Married at First Sight, Season 18, Chicago, Episode 15. Cheat and retreat. So sad for Alan. Let's just jump into it. Well, Madison storms away from the couple's dinner table. Remember, they're on a couple's retreat. It's the first night. Alan has cooked for them. She storms away. She goes into the kitchen to make herself a drink. That's going to be a common thread through this entire episode, is the amount of alcohol that is consumed. Michelle starts crying. Michelle feels like she is being dismissed. No one cares about her, is listening to her, is taking her side. She cries for real. It's an ugly cry. It is. She needs attention. Michelle does need attention. She feels like the other couples are siding with David. Cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater. Camille tells Michelle, it wasn't me taking any support from you. She was just trying to hear what happened from David's point of view. Michelle says she doesn't know whether she wants to still try. Girl, stop. We knew from episode 2 you're going to get a divorce. We still try. We've been trying, girl. Y'all were never going to stay together, Michelle. Let's keep it real. You're not going to say yes on decision day, Michelle. Michelle, you've never seen it for David. Now you got a vendetta against him. Okay, still try. Thomas needs a nap. Thomas can barely keep his eyes open. He says, this is too much drama. He said, I'm in my 40s. I'm middle-aged. This is too much drama for me. He and Camille are thankful more than ever, after all this drama that's going down with the other couples, for their relationship. The next day, 8 days until decision day. I said, not Michelle going outside to voluntarily talk to David. He apologized again. He is not accepting his apology anytime soon. He keeps saying, I'm a great man. I'm like, are you a great man though, David? You've lied multiple times. You lied to Michelle. That's like dead wrong. But you lied to Pastor Cal in his face. I'm a Pastor Cal fan. And you lied to Pastor Cal over and over and over again. That, for me, makes you questionable. Michelle wants David to prove that he only texted with Tiffany for a week and a half. There's still no picture. He deleted the contact because it was too tempting and he did not want to be tempted. Her information, including her picture, is off his phone. David's over it. He doesn't care anymore. Like, he's over it. He's here just to fulfill his contract and be on TV and enjoy a free trip. David's over it. He's like, either you can believe me or you're not. I'm telling you the truth. He's over it. He doesn't care anymore. Someone else has his attention. David tells Michelle that he cannot make her accept his apology. Michelle said David cannot expect her to move forward with no resolution. Good line. She had that ready. That was a good line. That was a good line. Michelle is whispering with MM and Camille. She still suspects Madison. And the reason she suspects he was texting Madison is because he was out at the bar. Her theory is that the way he sent that text was like he was looking at a person and said, you look so good, I want to eat you up. Not like someone that he was not in the presence of. And then 2, Michelle and Madison, both their names start with an M. He thought he was texting Madison when he was in fact texting Michelle. Get advice from MM. She can barely hold her eyes open. They've been drinking all night, all day. She's twisted. I think MM is enjoying not being the center of the drama. Madison and Alan, they go to race in go-karts. Alan is wearing his new hot jacket. I told you guys in my last review. I'm going to try and find it and insert right here. I met with a stylist, gave him a whole new look. When I say that Alan, I bet my bottom dollar that Alan bought every single item he tried on. Every single item. I told you guys, Alan bought every single item the stylist put on him, 100%. He spent all his coins on a whole new wardrobe. He does bring up decision day while they're out on their adventure. Madison says, we've made really good progress. I was like, what does that mean, Madison? Madison's a politician. And I said, poor Al. He says a lot of nothing. Madison says a lot of nothing. It sounds good, but it's nothing there. There's no meaning. It holds no water. You're just saying words. I said, Alan, put your hopes down. He's got his hopes up. I said, Alan, put your hopes down. Put your hopes down. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be harsh, Alan, but I heart you. You're my fave this season. Put them down. Put your hopes down. Madison has nothing to say about decision day because she's going to say no. You got a new wardrobe. You're going to have straight teeth. There will be girls flooding your DMs. I promise you. Put your hope in Madison down. She's not going to say yes, even if there are no more hiccups. Even, Alan, if you're perfect from this day forward, 100% perfect, she's still going to say no. Carla and Juan go to a pottery wheel It was weird because it was like pseudo-sexual talk and innuendos going on. The bowl that he's helping Carla with looks worse than her first bowl. Camille and Thomas are relaxing in the hot tub. Again, Camille wants to talk about life after decision day. Tom asks Camille, are you ready to be a parent? She says she is. She feels secure in the next 18 months to 2 years. Yes, Thomas, yes. Having kids and raising kids is a lot of pressure. It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of work, but it is the best thing that's ever happened to me, Taneza. Alan invites Michelle to talk about the dinner conversation. You guys, I felt so bad for Alan. Michelle tried to give him pieces of the puzzle and have him kind of put them together, and he wasn't able to until she began to reiterate things. He texted another woman on the night he went out with you, Alan, along with Madison, Carla, and Juan. Didn't you, Alan, go home after the first bar? Didn't David go out with Madison and Carla? Then didn't Carla go home to Juan? And doesn't Michelle's name start with an M? But doesn't Madison's name start? I felt so bad. And the moment the light bulb went off in his head, he finally got it. He's like, no, there's no way. I just poured my heart out to this girl. I proved that I'll do anything and everything for her. There is no way that David texted Madison. There's no way. No way, Jose. Michelle says she thinks there is no photo. David is responding to seeing a girl in his presence. Madison was in his presence. Michelle admits to Alan that she could be spiraling and that she wants to apologize. But then Michelle asks Alan a really good question. If you don't think this is true, my theory about David and Madison, why are you so upset? I said, there's a crazy Alan underneath this nice Alan. He's lurking right under the surface. Michelle asks Madison to talk. You guys, Madison is guilty. At this moment, watching her, I was like, you're guilty. You can't sit straight. You can't sit still. You can't stop the nervous laughter, the smile. You're guilty, 100%. 100%. And the only thing you're thinking in your mind while she's talking to you is, how did we find out? Where did we slip up? Where were we messy? She said outright, Michelle asked Madison, was that text meant for you? She said, I don't think so. It shouldn't have been. What? You are so guilty. And it's so messy. I'm upset that Alan's going to be hurt. I don't think so. It shouldn't have been for me is the wrong answer. Madison could be telling the truth, I say, but her body language says otherwise. The cough, the okay, the nervous laugh, the offer to see. What grown person says you can see my text? I'm grown. I don't, what? What? So she's like, okay. And then, so you offered her something to do to prove your innocence, and you just proved you were more guilty because the last person that you've texted, the person highest on your screen is David. But when you click on his name, all the texts are gone. They were old, she said. But yet you texted him most recently. You're so guilty and you look so bad, Madison. Madison then goes into Alan's bedroom. The clock, private investigator Taneza here, the clock next to the bedside says 12:07 a.m. All we know is that he's on his phone and he's angry. Alan is irate. And Madison's like, hey, how you doing? Which leads me to believe that that happened way after the next few scenes that I'm going to discuss. Anywho, he's mad. Madison says, are you okay? He says, I need a minute. Michelle asked David to talk. He says, I'm done with it. What is the message meant for Madison? David is just over it. He doesn't care anymore. He's not curious. He does not care. He is done. P.I. Michelle is on the job. Madison comes downstairs to ask why she's being brought into this. In other words, in her mind, how did we slip up? She said, I can't help how I reacted. The text was not meant for me. I said, girl, showing your phone? David was her first contact again, but there were no messages. Now she's more suspicious. Michelle is making Madison the bad guy. Michelle does not believe her. The producer asks Madison, is there any truth to that? I don't know. Is there any truth to the fact that David texted you? I don't know. I said, it's a slippery slope. So it's back to 10:27 p.m. Madison wakes David up. Again, I think this is happening before we see irate Alan in bed at 12:07 a.m. with Madison trying to comfort him and him saying, leave me alone, I need a minute. At 10:27, Madison knocks on David's door. She realizes her mic was live when she just talked to the producer, and she needs to give David a heads up. She is trying to save face. Her exact words, Madison to David, I do like you. Probably more than I should. She cannot continue in her marriage. It's messy, you think? And it's not fair to Alan. She says, this could be something. David says, I can tell you could be my ride or die. She said, really? That's a big statement. You guys couldn't have waited a month. Y'all could have waited 4 more weeks. You're both going to say no. Like, you know Michelle doesn't want you, David. She would have said no. Madison, you saw it here for Alan. Why couldn't you guys just waited? Why do this to Michelle and Alan on national TV? Why lie to Pastor Cal? You all are so whack for this. David feels the connection too. I said, messy. David is thrilled. This whole scene we're watching is a sham. They've already discussed this over the phone. This whole scene is just for the viewers. This whole scene is just for the viewers. They have been involved for weeks. David finally admits the text was meant for Madison. Poor Alan. Madison makes David talk to Alan. And Alan knew what was up. He knew, quote, me and Madison have a connection that you don't have and I don't have with my wife. In that moment, you look into Alan's eyes, his heart is broken. He has made such an effort in this relationship. Crazy Alan has been awakened. Alan tells David, I saw you as a friend. Alan asked Madison to tell him if she did not want to be with him over and over, time and time again. David is trying to paint Madison and him in the best light. There's no good light. You both look like dirtbags. You both look like scum. You guys could not have waited a month. Just out of respect for the institution of marriage, for the viewers, the experts, your spouses, yourselves, you all look so bad. So bad. And it could all have been prevented. The fact that you're the cause of heartache sucks. The fact that you're the cause of heartache. Crazy Alan leaves. He's destructive. He's volatile. He wants to drive. No, Alan, you can't drive. And Mem goes to console him. I said, could Alan and MM be a couple? Could they work out? One good thing in the scene was that Alan did have positive self-talk. Michelle wished she had not been right. Madison's acting all scared now. Alan leaves. David apologizes to Michelle about lying about everything. Michelle calls him a child and literal trash. He's the opposite of everything he said he is. Not Michelle confronting Madison. This episode was a doozy. This is the answer to the workout times. This is the answer to the late nights. This is the answer to her head not really being in the game with Alan, just going along with emotions. And she was wrong. David was wrong. Liar, liar, pants on fire. You both look like scum. You both look horrible and wretched. And it's not starting from a good place. It's not. In the comments below, is it going to work out between Madison and David? What's going to happen? As always, leave any questions and comments down below, and I look forward to seeing you in our next review.